So a GM EV, it's an Ultium platform, which I don't call anymore. So we have the Equinox EV RS all-wheel drive, has 85 kilowatt hour battery. So we're going to see on towing. I mean, they do the tow tests with the pickup trucks and stuff, and I'm doing towing with the smaller platforms, just the 85 kilowatt hour ones, just to see what they can do. Can this vehicle take us camping and do 500 miles towing a trailer, or is it going to be a problem and are we not going to be able to make the trip? So we'll find out. We are finishing up another trip that we took, heading up north again. We drove up to Grand Portage this time, towing the Braxton Creek 15 or Bushwhacker 15 RE. So it's a pretty uneventful trip. We have to stop 3 times. It's total trip is 252 miles. So we fill up at the campsite, and we're going to stop in Toft, which is 61 miles. So, and that's 12 miles to go to get to Toft, and we're currently at 50% and stuff. So it's stating 1.1 miles per kilowatt hour efficiency, which it seems just to be the norm across all the electric EVs and GM's lineup towing. So I've towed with Silverado RST, towed with the Blazer EV, towed with the Equinox EV here, all of them all-wheel drive and stuff. So this one seems to get slightly better efficiency than the Blazer towing the exact same trailer. So but when we stop, we'll see. I'm just gonna fill up to 80% again, because then we'll drive another 80, not even 80, it's probably another 60 miles just to get to Two Harbors, and I'll just fill up to 80% there too, just so we don't have to stop too often and stuff. So we don't really have to actually fill up all that much when we're stopping, just fill up to 80%, and it looks like filling up to 80% just from 40 to 50%, so it won't take very long at all. Hey Google, what's the difference between an induction motor and a permanent magnet motor?
On the website l-of.com, they say, permanent magnet motors must operate with a frequency converter, are more expensive, but have higher efficiency. Induction motors are larger and less efficient compared to permanent magnet motors.
So in the Equinox EV, the front motor is a permanent magnet motor, and the rear motor is an induction motor or inductive motor. So it will, if more power is needed, the car will actually send a current to, or electric current to, the rear motor, turning it into creating a magnetic field there, and then the motor will start working, where the front motor already has like a permanent magnet. It doesn't need an electricity to turn on any kind of magnets to make the motor work. So the difference on this with the Blazer EV SS, not the RS or LT, but with the SS, it has 2 permanent magnet motors, front and back, just like the Lyric all-wheel drive and the Blazer PPV, or the police pursuit vehicle, as well. We are coming up to going through Toft right now, Toft, Minnesota, and we're going to stop at our first supercharger, and it's a Tesla supercharger. So it's great that Tesla did open up their chargers, because there are no working chargers that can really get you up the North Shore. So we'll stop here shortly and I'll show the efficiency and stuff on the screen. Alright, so we did 62 miles, took an hour and 17 minutes, and average efficiency of 1.1 miles per kilowatt hour. So we're going to hook up here to the Tesla supercharger here. Okay, hooked up, and we're going to just Okay, looks like it's connecting. And at 40%. So got here at 40%, so it used 60% of the battery to go 61, 62 miles. So as you can see, it's ramping up. Still ramping up. So it looks like about 146 kilowatts is what it's able to pull in, and then starting to drop off a little bit. Alright, so we'll just leave that there and come back. It says it'll be ready in about 25 minutes or less to go from 40 to 80%. Alright, here's the other vehicle that we have with is the Blazer 2025 Blazer EV SS, 615 horsepower. So just got to grab something out of it. Not the puppies. Hey puppies, you guys doing okay back here? Huh? Luna, puppy? Yeah, I know. We'll let you out in a bit, just a sec. Puppies have to go for a walk too here. You guys, like in your little camping trip and the EVs. Luna, spastic one. Go to grab some. All right, quick little lunch, already at 81%. So start up the car. So we'll just hit stop here, didn't need to. Stop current charge. Connected, we'll do vehicle status, so start again. So your trip 2, we'll just reset that. That's including some other values to reset. Alright. And top. Go there. So that's 56 miles. We'll get there. Alright, I'll just disconnect here. And away we go. Alright.
Take the next left on Minnesota 61 South. Continue on Minnesota 61 South for 55 miles.
Let's get up to speed. Nice and easy. Set Super Cruise on. And off we go. Alright, coming into Two Harbors here. So down to 28%, so we'll see what it will be when we get to the charger. That's 53% of the battery as of right now to go almost 60 miles, but we'll look at the trip info when we stop. Alright, we got the handshake and it's turned on. So let's see what it ramps up to here. 27%. See what kind of speeds we get here. This Tesla Supercharger. The Equinox is actually the GM EVs because of the low voltage pack. Usually they don't really start charging quickly until about 20% or after, as you can see here. So 147. They had an out of spec review done where they do the 10% challenge, and they were really giving the Blazer a hard time, the Blazer SS, because it was charging so slowly. But 10%, you got to get the battery charged up for the voltage to get to be high enough to really have any kind of a speed. So we're at 148, 149 right now. So that wasn't really, I mean, it is comparing the cars across the board, but it's not really fair, I guess, because that's not GM's slot that they charge up fast at. If they did it at 20% and then went from there, then it would have shown much faster speeds, such as I'm not letting it get down to 10%. I mean, we showed up with, what, 27%, and we're gonna stay here for not that long. Let me just set it to 80%. There we go. So we'll be here for 30 minutes on that to go from 27 to 80%. So, all right. So I charged up just to 70% and stuff. Looks like we've got 49 miles to go to get to Black Bear Casino, which is another Tesla Supercharger. And the reason I'm stopping after every roughly 50-60 miles, it's not that that's the only distance I can go. This thing is doing approximately, you know, give or take a mile per percent. So that gives me about 100 miles of range, it looks like anyways. So the only reason I'm stopping is that that's just where these superchargers are placed. So I don't want to skip one and then run short, you know, so I'll just fill up to 80% at each one, which is fine. So I'm only here, you know, 20, 25 minutes, if that, you know, just filling up. So, but I will head to Black Bear Casino where they've got the next one, and I should be, we'll check when we get there, but I should be at 20% when we get there, if the pattern holds. So we'll see you there. All right, heading on our way towards Duluth as we're heading to Black Bear Casino and stuff. Just doing 60 miles an hour and stuff. I know it's 65, but you don't need to overstress the car and stuff. So just towing nice, reasonably quiet and stuff. The microphone on here might pick up some road noise that you don't necessarily hear with your ears as much, or I'm just going deaf. But anyways, it's relaxing. Nice trip. Went up to Canada, went up to Thunder Bay and Port Arthur there. I was able to see Sleeping Giant, which is a rock structure up there. Stopped at Fort Williams, which was fun as well. Got to hear some oral history from the reenactors, or the actors doing reenactments and stuff of Native Americans or the First Nation people, and a reenactor of the French traders that were there. So it was fun. Coming into Duluth, or on the north side of Duluth, it's more residential area. They've got neat homes that are lined up against the lake shore there. Must be actually a real pretty place to live if it wasn't for the traffic congestion, because I can't imagine trying to get out of my driveway when you've got people trying to go up north and down south. So, but here's northern Duluth. We're coming into Duluth proper. This is still kind of on the north side and stuff, but that's well, all these towns are historic towns. I mean, every town you go into nowadays has some history to it, but Duluth is kind of cool. It's the most inland seaport, I think, in the world. Furthest inland seaport. So it's in the center of the North American continent, but ships from the ocean can come in and dock here. Alright, we're going to be going up a 6% grade here, towing a trailer with Super Cruise driving. So it's starting to pull. Slowing down a little bit because the guy in front of me is going too slow, so we'll speed up. So we don't have to go as slow as this Dodge. By Dodge. We're doing 106 kilowatt, 99 kilowatt pulling, but it's driving itself up the hill just fine for trailer. 6% grade, might even be 6.5% grade. Stuff, no problem at all. Little tiny Equinox. Throw some electric motors in there and a battery, and away it goes. Alright, so it is 48.6 miles, 1.2 miles per kilowatt. Alright. This moron. Is he leaving? Good. Sorry, people. Let's just take up the only spot that a drive-through can get through. Alright, plugging in. Connected. Ramping up. We're at 29%, so a little bit better. So, what was it, 48 miles, 49 miles? And it used up, what, 41%? So a little bit better than 1% per mile. And again, it's above 20%, so you're going to get a fairly decent speed out of it, unlike out of spec when they just kind of, out of spec really doesn't like GM vehicles. I mean, they really put them in a bad light and stuff. But anyway, so 148. Alright, so while we sit and charge, what better way to relax and take the dogs and take a 20-minute power nap. I'm charging to 100% on this just because it's, I don't know, just because we can. I was able to take a nap in the trailer, so we'll just let that finish up. Actually, I can just probably stop it now. Doesn't really matter on that, so stop charge. This out again. And away we go. Alright, on our way, I wish I would have had my camera on, pulling out of the casino on a single lane heading out. A truck, an ICE vehicle, mind you, stalled. And so it's dead, blocking the lane. So in my Equinox, towing a trailer, I had to drive over the center median to get around this guy in his ICE vehicle. Apparently he doesn't know how to maintain it, I don't know. So yeah, and everyone up here is like, oh yeah, EVs don't last. Yeah, your ICE vehicle, I had to drive around with my EV in a trailer. So yeah, thanks buddy. Alright, we're finishing up a vacation on the trip here. We're coming home. Kind of a long trip, I guess, 5 hours. A little over that.
Welcome home.
And we're so I'll go over final numbers here. Alright, made it back with 30%, so we used 70% to go 76 miles. And the last one, that 180 miles for the trip, that's not quite accurate, because I didn't set trip 2 when I should have, like when we left. So anyways, looks like right around, the computer thinks 1.1 miles per kilowatt hour efficiency, but on both the Blazer EV SS and this Equinox all-wheel drive RS efficiency, I mean the battery size seems bigger than what the efficiency is stating the battery size should be. So anyways, alright, well, fun trip. And here come the geese. Alright, very last segment of the trip here. In town, there's a free level 2 charger, so it's usually where I stop to get charged. So we just plugged in the Blazer EV. So we basically drove from Deerwood, Minnesota. This is actually Crosby here, so we have another 4 miles. Up to Thunder Bay, Ontario, and back, and it cost $0 to drive that Blazer EV SS to Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada, and back to Crosby, which is central Minnesota. The Equinox EV is a different story because it was towing, but I will be bringing it back once that is done, and I will plug this in for free.